Alright, so lesson 2B I have is trig. Don't have mean proportional in there though before trig?
It's all at the bottom.
Have it after trig? Smart. Okay, fine. Good.
I think that was
confused me. Alright, so we'll do that in a second. Okay, so the basics of trig, I think most of the students know, so katoa, and some of these questions are going to be very simple. So you have angle 34. They tell you that this is 20. Tan 34 equals x over 20. Put on calculator, cross multiply, solve. What do you get? What do you get? What's your answer?
13.5.
3. Okay, very nice. Alright, let's look at the next one. This one is word problem, so it's a little bit harder, but it's still very basic. You have a wall post leaning against the wall. So you have your wall, you have the post leaning against it. I'm making a 70-degree angle. How far up will it, and we know that the post is 20, so now tan 70 equals
X over 20, X is 18.8.
Exactly, perfect. Okay, great, very easy. So that should be very easy for us too. The third is also same exact, right? That tan opposite over, yeah, is that what we're looking for? Oh, we're looking for, this time we're looking for the hypotenuse. So it's sine 70 equals opposite 30 over hypotenuse. Here the cross multiplying is a little bit more annoying. You gotta multiply the x over, divide by sine 70. So you can see if you run into any issues or difficulties there. Okay, fine. 15 in the diagram below. This one I found hard. I don't know why, it was gassing me out. So what they want you to realize is that cosine of, since these triangles are similar, E is the same as J, and R is the same as T, and M is the same as M. So when they say cosine J, what that really they mean is cosine E, right? So opposite R, so we know adjacent, EM, that's not right. Adjacent of R, so R they mean T, adjacent would be TM, not JM, that's out. Tan T, we have T is R, is TOA, opposite, ME, that's out. And tan E is the same thing as saying tan J, so tan opposite is TM over adjacent is JM, that's the answer. So I was just allowed to juggle in my head at once, so I found it to be something. Okay. Don't rush through this lesson because it seems like it's on the smaller side. And if you need to go back to circles, it looks like there'll probably be some circle stuff left to do. This one here is not so hard. You do exactly what you would think you do. You'd find DC by doing tan opposite over adjacent. What do you get DC to be?
436.
436. And then you find AC, right? By doing it with 7 degrees. And what do you get that to be?
1018.
1018. Then you do 1018 minus 436, and what do you get for AD?
582. Yeah.
582. Okay, so that's basic, fine, not so bad. The next one introduces a couple of new concepts. So first of all, it's cut off. The right thing is 112 feet. Now, based on the other one, I think you could do it without the feet, but let's do it with the feet, and then maybe I would even do it without the feet, just because I would like another example without the feet.
What do you mean without
What do you mean with the feet?
Without 112. You could do it without it. Isn't that what we just did on the next question? Whatever, we'll talk about the next question in a second. So we know that this angle 6 to this angle 6. Right? Oh, jeez. Okay. So this angle 6. And we know that this angle is 55, so this angle is 55. It's hard.
Because they're
Alternate Z
interior.
angles, yes. Then, with that, we could easily find the distance from 6 to here, the whole distance, right? So what would that be? It would be tan opposite over adjacent, yeah. Tan 60 equals opposite 112.
It's 110.5 because it's
good, right. Sure. So this is becomes 110.
60.
6 degrees.
6, okay. 110.5, right. Good point, because this is 1.5 feet. So this is also 6. Tan 6 equals 110 10.5 over x. You find it, what do you get?
1051.
1051. And then you do it with the small one, what do you get?
77.
77. So he traveled how far? 1051 minus 77, what is that? 1051 minus 77, anyone?
920. I don't know which one's right. It's actually like
Looks like
974.
974.
974. And he traveled that in 5 minutes. So 974 divided by 5 will tell you the speed that he traveled. Now, you could also do this without knowing it, I think. So let's see if we could do that. 110.5. We have, again, this line here. 110.5, we have this line here. Okay. And we know that this angle, like we said, is 6. This angle, like we said, is 6. This angle, like we said, is 55. So now, we could just, we know that, we don't know either, so you wouldn't be able to figure it out, I guess.
because the other one they gave you
the
the distance between the two was.
I got you. So maybe you could give them one of the distances. So what was this distance?
77. And
Oh,
that
so
was
they gave you this distance or whatever, right? Okay. So, fine. So now we'll just look at the next one then. Because I wanted to see if we could have another example, because this is a really hard question, this one here with the flagpole. Startlingly difficult.
Would you do this with?
No, I mean, unless you have time. Like, you want to go, okay, let's just do a challenge. And then I would probably walk them through it. So we know that this one is 34.9. We're just going to add 1.7 to our answer. So, like, circle it on your page, because you know you're going to forget it. So 34.9, opposite over adjacent, so 10, actually, you know what, let me be neat now, because tan 34.9 equals opposite, so the opposite is called, what they call it, the height of the flagpole, right? Over the adjacent, which is 8 plus x, you have two variables. And then on the other side, the second formula that they had was that this one here, that tan 52.8 equals x over h. They solve both.
Wait.
I made a mistake. Opposite h over x.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they solve them both for h, and they set them equal to each other. So tan 34.9 times 8 plus x, right? 34.9 times 8 plus x, and then equals tan 52.8 times x. And now, once they have that, you could solve. You gotta be. It's pretty annoying.
Yeah, do they want you to
Do they want you to
distribute it?
distribute? Yeah.
I would probably, you don't have a choice but to distribute it. Yeah, I would just if you turn it into a decimal early, you're gonna lose partial credit. So you really kind of have to do it algebraically. Tan this times 8, right? You have to, if you're doing it, if you distribute it, if you put it into a decimal early, you'd lose for sure
Let's
points.
just go value.
So 8, and then
So it's 6.57x plus 1034.9x is equal.
right equals this, and then you would.
Now subtract minus.
Subtract the.
So I'm gonna do
Subtract that,
1052.8 minus 10.
Why? How does that help? You can't subtract it.
34.9. Yes, you can. When you
What
distribute
can you
it to plus, of course you can.
Oh, I'm saying
Combine
you
my
can, but
terms.
now we have, and then pull the x out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you have 1052.8x minus
34.
right.
9x, and then you can pull out the x.
right, and then you pull out the x.
So you're just doing 52.8 minus 34.9
Exactly.
is 27.9. So 6.57x equals 1027.9x.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, now what?
So now we have on this side, what do you have left? 6.579 equals tan 52.8 minus tan 34.9. What would that come out to?
How does it make sense? How do you have two different numbers times x equaling?
No, we pulled out the x here. So now we have x times.
10.
Oh, so you divide by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 6.57.
Minus 10, 34.9.
Here are your two numbers.
And then just do the 6.579.
What'd
Oh
you
no, I
guys
would
do
do it in
for
one
words,
shot.
Esther?
Okay.
Minus, so do 6 point. You should really, what you should have is final, if you wanted to really have it nice without getting anything wrong, is it's 10 times 34.9 times 8 divided by 1052.9 minus 10
equals x.
34.9.
X
okay?
equals 9.
And then, yeah, and then you could solve for
I
it.
didn't get it.
But then once you solve for x, you're not finished.
You have to add 1.7.
What did you get for x?
No, you gotta get the
Right,
height.
so give it a second, I'll be fine. So let's just take a second there though. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
What does it say after 1051.9 minus what?
Give me a second, I'll move it for you.
Minus 10 of 34.9.
Right here. And then, so now you get that this is x equals, right? So what do you get x equals?
9.
9 point.
It's just 9.
Just 9, wow.
Yeah.
It's nice. So,
Well, you're doing 10, 34.9 times 8 divided by
yeah,
the
well,
difference.
that's bad,
between
yeah,
those
and you
two.
get 10, x equals 9. Fine, so I'm erasing the work now, but you could always pause the video if you need to check your work, okay. So now x equals 9. Now we have the whole thing and an angle, and we can figure it out. So now you have
10.
You have 10, 34.9 equals opposite x over adjacent 17. You get that, so we have that, right, and then what do you get for the height?
17
Times 10 and 34.9, yeah.
is 11.859.
Yeah.
And now you gotta make sure to add on the 1.7,
You get 13.6.
This is a disgusting question.
and you get
This wasn't a 6-point question.
13.6. I think it is a 6-point question,
It's
yeah.
37 or whatever it
Yeah,
is. Okay, that makes more sense at least.
yeah, but you got, I mean, people are just gonna get all the points off here. What I would say the main advice here is just
Okay,
do
I'll get up to
something.
it.
No, just do something. You
I
gotta
understand.
start setting it up. You just gotta start setting it up. Like you have to say that you have to start setting it up. I don't know. You have to start. So that's it. It's a crazy question. Alright, let's continue on. Now we're working backwards to find the angles from the sides. So we want this angle of elevation. It's opposite over hypotenuse. So sine x equals opposite 4.5 over hypotenuse, 11.75, and you're gonna do second sine. Okay, that should be easy. And I think everyone on this page is gonna be the same. So yeah, so same thing here. You're looking for angle A. It's adjacent over hypotenuse, so cosine, second cosine, 9 over 14. This one here, was it hard with the man, the visual one? I don't think it was hard.
No,
Man,
you just had to convert it to inches.
oh yeah, so there's a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so a man's 5'9", cast a shadow that's 8'6", right? And then, right, so you have to convert to inches. Good point. So 45, so 60 plus 9 is 69 inches. So you have the man, he's 69 inches tall. He casts a shadow that is 8.6, which is 64 plus 6, which is 70. I must have done something
No,
wrong.
8 times 12, you didn't do
So
it
it's
right.
1296 plus 6, 102.
102.
Yeah,
And then find the angle of elevation.
that's with the
So
ground.
it's this guy again, and it's opposite over adjacent tan, so second tan, so we had one of each. And I would just give them the hint maybe before they did it, say be careful, you have to
Wait,
do
the
this
shadow
conversion.
is not the hypotenuse?
No, he's making a shadow on the ground.
So it's 34.
And then 30, do we need to look at it again or no?
No.
30, easy.
Do they ever ask you to find the angle that's like not being made with the ground?
even say like the definitive rule. The angle of elevation is that one. Okay, the next important rule is this. So let's say we look at this triangle here, right? And it's kind of what I said before a little bit. If this angle here is, let's say A, let's say it's 30, right? So what is, let's say, sine of this angle? Opposite, it would be CB over hypotenuse, right? Now, let's say I went to this angle here, which we know is 60, yeah? What would cosine of this angle be? Also adjacent over hypotenuse. So you can see that it's the same thing, right? Does that make sense? So the fancy way to say that is that sine A equals cosine B, meaning the two non-right angles in a triangle, or sine A equals cosine of 90 minus A. Why do they say that? Because if you did 90 minus 30, you would get 60. The two angles in a right triangle always have that relationship with each other. So everyone see that? You could just show them again if you needed to. So let's try it again one more time. You go to this angle here. Let's say I tell you this angle is 50. What sine of this angle? Opposite AC over hypotenuse. Well, let's say I went to angle A, which is, what's it going to be? 90 minus, right? It's going to be 40. Well, what is cosine if you're adjacent over hypotenuse? Oh, it's the same thing. So, and maybe I'm doing it, maybe I probably should be assigning values here also. So I should probably be saying 3, 4, 5. What's sine A? 3 over 5. What's cosine B? 3 over 5. Oh, okay. So you could clearly see that. And then if you don't understand any of that, still, sine A equals cosine B. Choice 4 there.
Alright. So they're just calling the other angle 90 minus x.
Exactly. So sine x equals cosine 90 minus x. Sine A equals cosine B. 73, then what does it have to be? It has to be 90 minus it. 17, 28. Next one, sine A equals, this is the easiest points on the test by far. So yeah, that's that. Okay, and then for mean proportional, the impression that I got is that they only asked one type of mean proportional, which is nice. Whatever, it's at least reassuring. So I'm having a hard time zooming out now. Okay, so this is the way that I would teach it. The rule is very simple. Let's say you have this guy here. Let's do this question. Altitude CD is 10. Actually, let me blow it up again. So, all right. Altitude CD is 10, and AD is 7. What's dB? The rule is this. The altitude squared equals AD times dB.
Equals
Leg times leg.
Say that again.
Altitude squared equals this piece times this piece.
So you don't want us to set up proportions?
You don't even have to set up a proportion. Because you could always, this will always work. I think it's a little bit easier. I just saw this today and I was like, oh, this is great. So let's go to the next one. Everyone try the next one on your own.
How could AB be 6 and DB be 8?
I think that means to say AD.
I mean AD. Oh, so I did that one wrong then. Yeah, okay. So AD, let's say AD, yeah. AD is 6, DB is 8. So it's 6 times 8 equals x squared.
all you need is this one
Hold on.
formula.
Yeah, they don't ask the other mean proportional. I'm assuming they ask here.
So it's bottom part times bottom part equals altitude squared.
Yes. Next one here, you have to do Pythagorean Theorem first. So 0.25 squared plus x squared equals 0.55 squared. X squared equals 0.55 squared minus 0.25 squared, square root of that whole thing. So take the square root of 0.55 squared minus 0.25 squared.
We got 0.4898.
Yeah, 0.49, let's say that. Okay, so now 0.49 squared equals 0.25 times x.
And
Well, isn't the park ranger to the lifeguard just 0.49?
Where's the park ranger?
P.
Oh, here?
To lifeguard, 0.49.
Oh, we found it. Oh,
And then the
no,
next
I'm doing the next one. Okay, fine, good. So you solve for part A, the park ranger to the lifeguard. Now I'm trying to solve for part B. So we're looking for from F to the campsite.
This is part.
So what do you get for
Yeah.
this one? 0.49 squared divided by 0.25.
0.96.
0.96 and 0.96 plus 0.25 is less than 1.5. So no, he's incorrect. And that's not it. We're almost there. So UT is 12. RT is 42, which makes this 30. This is x. X squared equals 30 times 12. Square root of 360. Teach them to reduce this properly, or just put them all in the calculator, which is also fine. The way we teach to reduce, we just divide by 2 a bunch of times. Divide by 2, divide by 2, should get 180, right? Divide by 2, you get 90. Divide by 2, you get 45. Now you can't divide by 2 anymore, so you would divide by, I guess, 5, and you would get 5 and 9, and 9 you would get 3 and 3. Now, all of the guys that anytime you have a pair, those guys you get to take out of the radical. So let's show what that means in a second. So there's 2 3s. So that means that we have a 3 outside of the radical. There's 2 2s. So that means we have a 2 outside the radical. There's now the 2, the 5, and the 9, that all stays in. So 2 times, the 9's out. So the 2 times 5 is just 10. So you have 6 radical 10.
Shouldn't we just tell them to plug it in?
Yeah, but this is in case they want to know how to do it. It could come up with long answers to make something rational, and which would not produce an altitude. Same deal, you just try each of them. So AD and DB, so it's just 2 times 36 square root, 3 times 24 square root. And all these things should multiply to the same thing except for 1. Is it that dumb?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So 2 times 36, 2 times 3 times 24, 6 times 12, and 8 times 17. What's answer D?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Alright.
So that's it. Alright, so we just finished that lesson.
beautiful. Sorry.